In this video, I want to talk about this idea of essence and form. It's a powerful and a very useful concept. It can be useful in so many ways. Whether it's creating something in your life, building a new habit, overcoming an unhealthy one, or fulfilling a dream, a desire, a prayer that you hold dear in your heart. Well, this idea of essence and form can be a really useful one. Take anything in life. There's always an invisible part and a visible part. Let me explain. If you think about it, the YouTube video that you're watching right now, there is an invisible signal that comes as information that comes to your device. And then there is this visible, the tangible part, the images that you see and the sounds that you hear. Now, the signal is invisible, intangible, and completely meaningless to us. What is tangible and meaningful is the pictures on your screen and the sounds that you are listening to. Now, this is true about anything in life. There's always an invisible part and a visible part to everything. Let's call the invisible part the essence and the visible part the form. If you're wondering how understanding essence and form can be useful, let me try to explain that again. You see, if I want to overcome an unhealthy habit, that habit is the form. The habit itself is what we see, what I experience. But there's also an invisible part to that unhealthy habit, and that is the essence of that unhealthy habit. It is this essence that sustains this unhealthy habit. For instance, if I have an unhealthy habit of checking the news constantly, that is only an external behavior. There is an underlying essence, invisible essence that leads me to that unhealthy pattern. Also, if I want to start a new habit, the habit itself is the form. But to make it happen, I need to create the essence first. And from that essence, this new habit will grow and take shape. I want to take it from a different angle. You see, even though this is a phrase from the Bible, I believe it's a universal life principle. It is said, whatever you pray for, believing that you have it already, and you will have it. The believing that you have it already, that is the essence, the invisible part. I need to become the essence of the desire, the longing, or the prayer within me first, and then the forms, the visible results will naturally follow. Well, what I would like to do is to share with you 3 points to explain why this idea of essence and form and looking at life through this particular lens can be so useful in life. Before I do that, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Shibu, and I'm a psychologist based in the UK. For a number of years now, I've been really fascinated by this relationship between the intangible and the tangible, the invisible and the visible. Well, I can say that it's been an incredibly enjoyable journey for me. Before we move on to those 3 points that I mentioned earlier, let's take a minute to understand the distinction between the essence and form. So, think about your love for someone. What is within you is your perception of that person, what you feel towards that person, your willingness to love that person. That's the essence of love that's within you. But now, you need forms to express that essence. It could be a gift, a word of appreciation, an act of thoughtfulness and care, maybe spending time together over a cup of coffee or a meal, an act of forgiveness or understanding. Well, these are all forms to express that essence of love that's within you. Now, consider for a moment, what if you don't have any of these forms to express your love for that person? This essence of love then stays dry within you. It remains incomplete. It may feel suffocating, when that which is within you has no way of expressing, meaning pressing out, something that is inside, the essence is inside, forms are pressed out. Can you see that the inner essence needs forms to express, and forms cannot exist without some sort of essence within? Can you also see that there is an inner and outer to everything, a within and a without, an invisible essence and visible forms? So, essence and form. Well, I can hear some of you saying, oh, this is too philosophical. And how is this going to be useful in life, understanding this difference between essence and form? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to share 3 points that can explain the benefits of seeing life through the lens of essence and form. So, the first point is this: tangible forms reflect the intangible essence. It's a law. Let me try to explain this with an example. Think of an artist who is watching in awe of the beauty and the magnificence of a sunset, and then capturing this sunset on a canvas. Now, think about the people who will look at that picture afterwards. Can you see that they will connect to the essence of joy and the beauty and that sense of wonder of that sunset? Now, if the same artist was going through a period of profound sadness, then that picture will somehow bring out that sense of sadness, the essence of sadness on that canvas. Although it's the same artist, same sunset, same skills, same tools, the essence of sadness will find a way to come out, to express itself on that piece of work. Can you see that essence always finds a way to express itself? It's a law of reflection. All forms, all tangible forms in life are reflections of some intangible essence hidden within it. If you think about the first scenario that I explained, isn't it amazing to think that initially the beauty and wonder of a sunset is impressed within the artist? Then this essence that is impressed within is expressed on a canvas. This picture then will again impress the heart of a person who is going to look at that picture, who connects to the essence of the artist who was painting that picture. And in that sense, the whole life is a constant interplay between the intangible essence and the tangible forms. Interplay between the impression within and the expression without. Now, let us look at these 2 words, impression and expression. Expression comes from 2 Latin words, ex and primere. Ex is a prefix that stands for out. Think of words like exit, meaning act of going out, or exhale, meaning breathe out. The Latin word primere means press. So now can you see that the word express means press out. Expression is something that is pressed out. Can you now see that in order for anything to be pressed out, there has to be something pressed inside? If there is nothing inside, then there is nothing to be pressed out. And this something is the impressions that we are carrying within ourselves. Our mental makeup, our self-image, what we think about ourselves, our beliefs, our assumptions, our convictions about ourselves, others, relationships, about the world, about God, about life in general, and so on. Now, all those impressions will be somehow expressed in and through us. Now, that's a law. Because it is a law, and we cannot escape that law, can you see that there is a need for us to take time to ask ourselves, well, what is pressed inside me? What are the impressions that I carry within me? Are there impressions, images, thoughts and assumptions that are not helping me anymore? All of us are carrying so many assumptions that we haven't taken time to examine, to explore, to investigate. If there are areas of our lives that we are not happy with, then it might be a good idea to look within, identify the essence, and then to find a way to change this essence inside so that then the outside, the external, the form will change. Now, in summary, our lives are like mirrors reflecting our inner selves. Our emotions, our actions, habits, and relationships are all expressions of what we are inside ourselves. Our life is an extension of who we are in our inner essence. This is a law of reflection. So if you want to change anything in life, instead of fighting against the external, the forms on the outside, we just need to go inside ourselves, identify the essence, and then change the essence, and the outside, the form, the external will change as a consequence. Now that leads us to the next point. The second point is this: change inner essence first, and the forms on the outside will follow. So what does that mean? As I said before, if I want to change anything in my life, I need to change its essence, its core energy first, and then the outside will change as a consequence. Here is one way to look at it. Think about a magnetic field. Imagine how it moves the iron dust into different shapes. We can't see the magnetic field, but what we can see is how it gives shape to the dust patterns. In a kind of similar way, if there is something in my life that I want to change, like feeling stuck in certain area of my life, that feeling stuck is like an invisible magnetic field holding me in that particular place. For example, I wanted to create these YouTube videos for a long time, but I kept postponing. Why? Well, at some point I decided to look within myself at its essence. I asked myself, what is that energetic field that makes me feel in this way? That energy that makes me postpone this project constantly. And then, in that energetic field, I saw my fears. I have no control over those who will watch these videos. There was this fear of being judged or laughed at, fear of not looking or sounding good enough, fear of letting go of some of my comforts, fear of failure, fear of success. Yes, fear of success is an interesting one because I'm familiar with the failing because I had a taste of that at different points in my life, and I know what that feels like. But a greater success might put me on an unknown path. It could be potentially a bigger exposure, and that means I will have less control over this whole thing. And then I asked myself, what is really at the core of all these fears? And then I realized that everything comes down to one thing: feeling unsafe. That was its essence. This invisible, energetic, magnetic field that was holding me in a particular state. Can you now see that on one side, there is this energetic field of my limiting beliefs, thought process, emotional baggage. And on the other, my desire to express myself by creating these videos. And then there is this pull and push inside me. My desire to create wants to move in one direction, but the sense of feeling unsafe was holding me back. The two voices inside me fighting. One voice goes, let's go, let's do it. And the other one says, no, don't do it, don't go. You see how trying to push myself with sheer willpower, it was kind of pointless when there is this tug of war inside. You see, here there is this essence, this invisible energetic field of this inner conflict here. And that was giving shape to my tendency to postpone, procrastination. In a way, this feeling unsafe was trying to protect me from some imaginary dangers. Instead of having compassion towards that part of me, I stood on the side and judged myself for feeling weak. And then this inner conflict, it was creating a sense of dissatisfaction within myself. And that was a vicious cycle. You see, this inner conflict is an invisible essence, and my behavior is a reflection of it. That's the point. Form is a reflection of the essence. Essence always finds a way to express itself, and that is alone. I know that I'm repeating. You see, many of us find it incredibly difficult to bring any kind of lasting change in our lives simply because we try to change the form, the external conditions, without looking into its inner core, into its inner essence. You see, an external form, a new habit, a new quality of life cannot be sustained without an essence to hold it there. Imagine a pot of hot water on a stove. Without some sort of heat source, the water cools down and reaches the room temperature. To keep the water hot, I need a way to maintain the heat. Likewise, imagine that if I want to cultivate a new habit of getting up early and start the day on a very positive note. But then, when I look within myself, if I realize that I hear myself saying so many times, "Oh, I'm not an early person," or if I realize that I go to bed dreading the thought of getting up early because of the unpleasant things that I need to do on the day after, or if there is this heaviness of this disappointment within myself because I tried to cultivate this habit so many times and failed so many times, therefore I don't have the confidence in myself, then can you see that I am setting up myself for another failure if I don't take time to look at this essence and to resolve that inner conflict first? Once we understand the relationship between the essence and form, not just here in our minds, but through our personal experience, then it can be so empowering, because if I want to overcome something in my life, I need to identify and solve the essence first. And the external forms, our behavior, pretty much all the external conditions, they have to change as a consequence. Or if I want to create something new in my life, I need to know what is its essence. Once I create this essence within myself, the form emerges more effortlessly, graciously. Can you see how crucial it is to realize this law in life? And also the need to look into the essence of something first before trying to change or create forms on the outside. Now, we are going to look at the third point that can explain another advantage of viewing life through the lens of essence and form. And it is this: essence of everything is the spirit of life itself. It is the most amazing partner, a partner whose power and intelligence knows no limit. For me, this is the most exciting part of this video segment. As I said earlier, I know that all examples have limitations, but let me take another one. Think of all the YouTube videos stored on the server. All that information is completely meaningless to us. until it comes to our screen. Life works in a similar kind of way. The essence of everything that we experience is real but hidden. It's like it's sitting on a server of life itself. It only becomes real to us when it shows up as things that we can see, touch, and experience in our everyday life. When we watch a YouTube video, we know that it's not just happening by chance. There are signals and information being sent to our device, which then converts all of that information into images and sounds that we see and hear. In the same way, there is an intelligence at work in everything around us. We can't see it, but it's there. It's the organizing principle, a kind of invisible field of life and intelligence that's behind everything that we can see, hear, touch, and experience. As I said, think of it as the organizing principle, the server of life itself. Now, there are 2 videos on my channel that you can watch. They are 2 powerful real stories that illustrate this whole point, how the server of life has all the essence, and once we connect to that essence, it manifests, it reflects in our life. The first one is this guy named Lester Levinson. With a severe heart condition and no medical solutions left, he was in a desperate situation. But what he did was to go inward, and through a process, he became the healing within himself. He became whole through a process of embodying love and joy. And he did that consistently for about 2 to 3 months. And in that process, his body reflected the essence through complete healing. Then there is this other story of this person, Anita Murjani. She was literally on her deathbed, with only a few hours left to live. But she had this out-of-body experience where she connected with her true self, her essence. And in that space, she experienced herself as whole. And she described, she has experienced how magnificent she is. When she came back to her body, the cancer was gone. It was like her body just reflected the wholeness that has already taken place, that she had realized within herself as her essence within. Now, I'm totally aware of the fact that our bodies are incredibly complex. I want to be super clear. I'm not inviting anyone to stop any medical treatment they are undergoing. That's not the point. The point is, we have this inner power to become the essence of healing and thus enhance our healing journey, our becoming whole again. There is even science backing this up. Studies show that our emotional states, how we feel inside, affect our bodies, its functions. Think about it. We don't need even the science. If you reflect just on our daily life, we know that when we are feeling great, we have got more energy, we are more productive, things just flow better. But when we are stressed, angry, worried, everything contracts. We feel tired, headaches come up, and nothing seems to work. What I truly believe is this: when we deliberately practice and embody the essence of healing, the essence of wholeness, we can accelerate the healing process. And this is true about everything else in our lives. Take any of our heart's desires, any of our prayers. If we get into that state of realizing the essence, realizing meaning feeling it as real before it happens, but if we can feel the essence of that, well, because of this law, the essence has to reflect the form. it is going to come to pass. Also in our tangible world, the essence comes first and the form follows. It's not just a nice idea. It's a way of understanding how life works. When the essence is strong, when we become the thing we are seeking inside, the outside world reflects it back to us. Going back to that verse of the Bible that I mentioned earlier, it summarizes this universal life principle so beautifully. Whatever we are asking for, we have got to become it on the inside first, and then it comes to the screen of life. Believe we already have it. Live in that state. The form will follow. Isn't it interesting here that usually when we have a dream, when we are looking for the fulfillment of a prayer, we are looking to the future. But here the invitation is to look to the past. It doesn't make sense. But if we understand that the essence of life, the server of life, it's already complete there. That's why it's asking, instead of looking to the future, look to the past, because it's already complete. All that I need to do is a bit like the phone or any device that I use in order to watch something which is converting this signal, the information, into something meaningful to me. Likewise, the server of life is holding the essence. It is already complete. Now I have to become, I am the one, the device that is converting that information, that essence in my heart, in my mind, in my way of being. It becomes natural to me to feel that essence. And then it has to show up in life. Now that's tricky because we are so used to living the other way around, aren't we? We let the external circumstances to dictate how we feel inside. We feel happy, free, or more alive after we are healed, or after we have become successful, after we have changed the external circumstances of greater freedom. We rely on the outer world to create our inner state. But the truth is, it works the other way. The essence has to come first. Yes, I know it's a challenge, but it is also exciting because it means we can learn these principles of life, and through practice we can master this game of life. We can learn to shift how we approach life. Through practice we can build this trusting relationship with the infinite part of ourselves, the part that is deeply connected to that intelligence and power without any limit, that can make even the impossible possible. It's about learning to live from the inside out instead of the outside in. Yes, it's a challenge, but it can be also a beautiful journey. Let me share with you one more reason why this is exciting. Most of us are used to facing life with this deeply ingrained belief that life is hard. We think we have to grind, hustle, push hard to make things happen. It's like we are programmed to believe that struggle is just part of the deal. What if there is another way? What if we could look at life differently? When we start to understand that we are not just passive participants, but active co-creators together with the infinite spirit of life, everything changes. Because we are not doing this alone. We are partners with the life itself. And this partner, the essence of life, has all the resources, power and intelligence needed to fulfill our heart's desires. I know, it takes a pretty radical shift in how we see things. But once we connect to this essence, something amazing happens. We can move towards the fulfillment of all good things that we desire in our hearts, without anxiety or fear, because the forms reflecting the essence It's not going to be a random thing, or it's not going to happen by chance. Because it's a law, failure is not an option. As long as I have connected to that essence with absolute certainty, I have become it within myself. Now, of course, this takes practice. We need to commit ourselves. It takes time and experience to learn life principles, to fully trust this process, to really believe it deep down, and to have some experience, the direct experience of changing something inside me, and without me trying to force things on the outside, things change, things reflect on the outside. I know that our rational mind will say, but it would happen anyway, it happened because of my effort and so on and so forth. But there has to be at some point an experience of changing the essence inside and seeing how it reflects back to me on the outside. You see, going back to the analogy of YouTube videos, when we watch a YouTube video, it's most likely that it was there on the YouTube server yesterday and it will be there tomorrow. Well, this is the case anyway with most of the YouTube videos. This video that you are watching, for instance, is sitting on the server in its entirety. This video here on the server is there from the beginning to the end, but you are watching on the screen in time, segment by segment. Likewise, the essence of every good thing in life, every good thing that we desire, everything that has ever existed, that will ever exist, is already present in its completeness in that server of the spirit. Because it's infinite in nature, it's spaceless and timeless reality. Likewise, the essence of every good thing in life, every good thing that we desire, everything that has ever existed, that will ever exist, is already present in its completeness in a server that's infinite in nature. Think of it as a server of life, the server of the infinite spirit, the source of all life. Because it is only essence, it has no form, it does not depend on space, it does not need a physical server like the YouTube server. So it is a spaceless reality. It is here, it is there, it's everywhere. It is also a timeless reality. So this server, the source of all life, has so many names: God, universe, spirit, ground of all being. Whatever is the name, is a reality that holds the essence of every good thing that we desire. Invisible, intangible to our senses, but absolutely real. In one sense, this essence of life is the doer. What we need to do is to consistently and consciously choose and hold the essence of that which we want to experience in life. Then the essence of life creates forms in ways that we cannot fully understand. Look at the magnificence of the universe. The power and the intelligence that has created it is beyond our imagination. Now, let me conclude. If you relate to what I'm sharing on my channel, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I know that these ideas raise lots of questions, and I do intend to create more videos to elaborate more on these topics. In the meantime, if you leave your thoughts and reflections, they will definitely help me in that process. Before I let you go, I want to say that the concept of essence and form is part of a philosophical tradition that goes back to many centuries. My intent was to share with you that it's not just philosophy. This filter has ramifications to our practical daily lives. My wish for you is that you may allow yourself to discover and connect more and more to the true essence of every good thing that you long for in your heart. Doesn't matter where you are, what you have been so far. May you have the courage to dream again like a child. May you dare to start all over again, every day, every moment, and in your oneness with the essence of life. May you be able to express all that is magnificent, all that is wonderful, all that is life-giving in your life. In one sense, we are already the essence of every good thing that we hold in our hearts. It's just that we need to realize it. We need to commit ourselves to a process where it becomes real. And then it has to show up in our lives. Thank you. And so, may the true essence of life bless you.